Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fearless. First of all, I just want to say thank you for rocking with me throughout this entire journey. Fearless has been amazing and we still have so much to do and so much to conquer, and I just want to say thank you. So make sure to turn on the notification bell so that you know what's happening in regards to Fearless and all the things that we can do together. So on today's episode, this is very dear to me, and also the guests who are coming today have so much, so much to tell you. So ask yourself these questions, maybe just one question. Whatever you're doing in life, your career, is it because you wanted to do it? Is it because you were pressured to do it? Or are there other factors that made you get into whatever career that you're in right now? Ask yourself that question. Answered? Okay. So I was reading a study, and they were talking about how over 80% of people all over the world are living in misery because they hate their jobs, they hate what they're doing, and they just wake up, go with the flow, do whatever it is they need to do, come back home. And that basically means that you're living a very unhappy life. So today we have three amazing guests, and they're going to be telling us more about their journey because they pushed aside all their fears to make sure that they got to where they wanted to be. So let me give you a short story, and this is in regards to this show. It took me so many months before I decided to do it. And so far, so good. I'm happy I put my fears aside, because one of my fears was, what if people don't watch Fearless? And here we are. So yeah, it's good to see how far we've come. And this episode is just to inspire you and to motivate you, because you can do whatever it is that you want. All you have to do is just be fearless.
Hi, my name is Bright Gameli Maudor. I am the head of cybersecurity services for Dimension Data East Africa. I love dancing. I'm a break dancer. I love Kung Fu. I actually teach, by the way. And also, I like to be a party person. But let's take it back a bit. When I was pretty young, I always wanted to do things fun. I was a normal kid trying to be living a normal life. And when I got to 6 years old, my dad actually showed me a briefcase. So I asked him, we're actually moving houses from one place to the other. He's like, this is a computer. I'm like, well, I would like to play around with it. And he tried to show me a few things here and there. And I'm like, Dad, I would like to really work on this. I was sent to a computer school called New Age Computer School. It was fun. For the first 2 hours, I told the teacher, or whoever the lecturer or teacher at the point, and he said, I told him, look, I need to write the exam because whatever you're teaching me is nothing new to me. So by force, I asked for the exam and I wrote the exam. All that took me about 4 hours. So I did a 6 week course in 4 hour exam. And that was the first and last time I ever stepped into a computer school. At 7 years, I was in school where my teacher really got me pissed off because she would give us assignments. Our computer teacher gave us assignments, but telling you to get it done in the next few days, at a time which is quite impossible. So what did I do? I created a virus. So that was my first computer virus that I created when I was 6, turning to 7. And the virus was basically to make sure that her computer gets to crash every time he gets an assignment from me. Well, guys, let me let you know something. I wasn't doing it for any malicious reason. I did it because I had to help the entire class. Fast forward, that was me in Ghana, Ghanaian by origin. Fast forward to where I am right now. I came to Kenya in 2002. Joined St. Mary's School, and St. Mary's High School was pretty interesting for me. When I was in Form 2, actually, we had only one computer. So if it's a break time or lunchtime, you have two choices. You either run really fast, so it's first come, first serve. This was quite tough for me. I'm not the fastest guy you can ever think of in high school. So what happened was I created another virus. At the time was when we had the whole Matrix movie. So I took the Matrix of Neo and Morpheus fighting. I took that picture, created a virus which covers 98% of the screen, and it only happens 1 minute before break time or 1 minute before lunchtime. So when you get there, you can't use the computers. So yeah, I always walk very majestically just to get to the library, and I use the computer very nice and easy. So I started seeing myself thinking I'd become a programmer, but that became now the biggest fear that hit me, my father. My father is like, you have to be a medical doctor. So I even asked him, can I get some money to go do some courses? He said, no. You know what? You have to be a medical doctor. So every time he's calling me Dr. Bright, Dr. Bright, Dr. Gameli as my other name. And I'm always thinking, why should I always become what my dad is telling me to do? And trust me, that's where you have to develop some sort of fearlessness in you. I finished high school in St. Mary's. Luckily got a chance to go to Daystar University. And Daystar was where things changed. Things took a whole 360 turn. I started seeing a whole life of cybersecurity to be involved. But at the time, come on, you're not going to start thinking about cybersecurity as a way thing or as even a job to do. So I started seeing what you call ethical hacking. Now, let me tell you guys, ethical hacking is not as easy as you think it is, and I try to understand whatever it contains, which is basically breaking into computers legally and helping people to actually get them secure. So I started learning the basics of ethical hacking, and I ended up hacking our internal network at school. So the Daystar network, I was able to compromise it. Again, now a teacher pissed me off. This teacher or this lecturer at the time will only pass you if you're female or if you are very beautiful. So what did Bright do? I created 4 students who does not exist in this entire school. They don't exist, they don't humanly exist, but they exist in the entire system, who pass exams so well every semester. I make them pass. I don't change my own grades, but I change their grades. The reason was to moderate the entire grade for the class, so we don't get to fail. So you see, I wasn't really being malicious. I was only helping the class to also not fail. Fast forward that to finishing Daystar, I barely passed. I was at 2.7 GPA out of 3.5. And I thought I was going to really not get a job. I don't think I can do anything. But the culture that I developed from learning how to do cybersecurity or hacking and the likes started growing. It started growing to the point that at one point in time in 2010, February 10th, I was involved in a sort of a situation which I don't think anybody wants to get into. I was arrested by Interpol right here in Kenya, right here in Westlands, and that wasn't funny. I hacked about 180 Facebook accounts. I basically will make sure that anybody who was in that cyber cafe, their internet connection and everything they type goes through my laptop before it goes to the internet. So I was locked up for about almost 7 hours in a very nice, quiet, white room somewhere in Nairobi. So I thought, okay, this is it. I'm leaving hacking, I'm leaving cybersecurity. I need to find a new career where I don't get to be arrested by international police. I stayed at Study Learn for 1 year, 9 months. Finishing all that, I became pretty good at what I was doing there. And what I learned from that job was being able to be thrown in the deep end. That's what Salilant would do. They'll throw you to the deep end. For example, I went to one of the banks and been told to do a presentation about the security architecture. I had never done it before. I had never presented in front of anyone. And I'm supposed to explain to them what a security architecture is in layman terms. Hey, that was quite a challenge. That was the first time I think I've encountered what we call a public presentation. It's public because these are not people that I'm used to. These are not people that I talk to every day. These are not people that I'm comfortable speaking with every single time. I kind of hacked it. Not literally hacking, but I kind of hacked the situation. I was able to speak. I was able to talk to them. I was able to explain. Then I applied so I decided, you know what, maybe the next thing to do is to apply for masters. So my thought was to go to South Africa. I applied to so many schools there. Trust me, none of them took me. But somehow my dad got me. He met a friend in South Korea when he went for a conference, and this professor just took me in. So this is South Korea. No one ever thinks of ever going to South Korea. It's the last place you can ever think about. I went there to get my master's in advanced information science and technology, and that was tough. That was very difficult for me. So my entire master's, I only got a B plus. My entire grades I was a straight A student. I finished everything and they said, oh, for you to graduate, you have to repeat 3 exams you've done before. You haven't failed them, but you have to repeat again. Anyway, I passed. I was 25, getting to 26 years of age. I came to Kenya. My dad sent me back. He says, hey, you're not done yet. You need to go do your PhD. He called my professor, told him, listen, he's coming back to continue his PhD, and I got another scholarship. So went to do the PhD program, and this was just an interesting kind of journey for me. You have to repeat 5 exams you've done before because it's PhD that you haven't failed, but you have to write them again to show them that you actually understand the entire program. I did it, I passed, and I graduated. Now, in Korea, you have to survive. For you to survive, you need to find a way to make money. And how was Bright making money? Bright was a bartender. Bright was a party organizer. Bright was a street dancer. Bright was beatboxing on the streets because that's the easiest way you can make quick money. And most importantly, I was teaching English to kids.
You said strip dancer.
No, street dancing.
I was like, strip. I was like, please
So, fast forward to finishing all of that hassle and coming to Kenya, I started applying for jobs. Let me tell you something, that was the most difficult thing I've ever done in life. I applied for jobs every single place. I only got 2 interviews and 3 others were probable, like, you're shortlisted. Every other, either you don't get a reply or you get a rejection letter. The rejection letters, trust me, when they say men don't cry, oh, trust me, we do. At that point, I cried my ass out. Like, I cried so much. I cried so many times because that was the only way I could actually let out my anger. And I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't tell people how I'm suffering. There are very, very few people who knew what I was going through in Korea. We always show things that people only show you what they want you to see. They're never going to show you the difficult aspect of them. So, applying for all of those jobs, I applied back for a job at Cellulant where I used to work. Mind you, in between the time I was in South Korea, I used to work for them I was still a consultant. I came back and they made me the head of cybersecurity for Africa. Mind you, I started as an intern and now I'm head of cybersecurity. That just happened between a span of 4 years, and even I was shocked. It was a very challenging job. It's a managing position, and I declined a job at Deloitte, South Africa for this. Why? Because I wanted to do something that I was doing back home in Kenya, which was called Africa Hack On. So Africa Hack On was something I started because I didn't have money to go to the States to go for the conferences. I decided the only way I can do it is to have my own. I started forming a group of people who are in cybersecurity to basically get to teach each other the kind of skills they have. Getting to do all of those has now, right now in 2020, has resulted in me and about approximately about 50 to 60 people who are fully in cybersecurity right now. All because I formed Africa Hack On, where they come and they learn, they share. That conference has been happening for the past 7 years. And I look back at all the struggles that I went through in South Korea, all the things that I had to give up for, all the times that I have to write the papers that I've done. I started developing a habit of doing public speaking. Public speaking engagement that I've done, they are now currently about 125. So I've done 125 public speaking engagement where I talk about cybersecurity. I do a live hacking. I do just to show people exactly what hacking is all about. So, leaving Cellulant, I joined Internet Solutions. Internet Solutions is part of the group company called Dimension Data, which is now they've merged and now it's one company. I am head of managed security services for the Dimension Data group. For the Middle and Eastern Africa. What I make sure is organizations should not get hacked. I make sure my clients are secure all the time. You can't stop hacking 100%, so at least I give them some assurance of about maybe 90 to 95%. So that's basically my lifestyle. I still do a lot of mentorship. I run also a small group of team called Africa Hack On Legends. So that's basically my lifestyle. I was able to overcome all the fears that were hitting me left, right, and center. I knew I was going to fail at many points. I did fail at so many points. I almost quit my PhD. I almost quit my master's. I almost quit my job. I almost quit almost everything I do. And it's very scary. The fear of not knowing exactly what is going to happen the next day was hitting me left, right, and center. But look where I am. I think I'm proud of myself to do what I'm doing, and the only thing I can do is to encourage the next generation and teach them what to do and be able to share that as much as I can. My name is Bright Gameli Maudo. I'm passionate about what I do, but in all, I'm fearless to say the least.
My, what? Hii ni kitu ni ngumu. Hi, I'm Mainge Kabera. I am a lifestyle, commercial, and fashion photographer. And I am fearless. My journey as a creative began when I was still a kid. I used to draw when I was a child. I used to like magazines very much. I used to wait for my mom to buy magazines. I used to draw the images from the magazine from the photo shoots. That's where my interest in photography began. But when I got into high school, I stopped drawing as much, and I became interested in photography. I would take pictures, but then I was using a phone. I used to really love them. I used to shoot videos also with a phone camera. I would edit them with phone softwares, and I thought they were the best actually. But then I thought, like, this is it, this is what I'm doing. But when I cleared high school, I stopped doing photography. I started doing music. I used to be a DJ, but that interest died as the music I was DJing, I felt that it wasn't connecting with me. I was listening to much of gospel music, and I was a reggae DJ, so that didn't make sense a lot. So back in 2014, now I started shooting again. Started my business with a business plan. I didn't have a camera. I just wrote down a business plan of what I wanted to do, and the funding I needed. And I walked to people, family, and friends, and gave them my plan, pitched for the business, and wow, it was just terrible. Nobody bought into my business, so I started hiring cameras. I would hire a camera, and I taught myself how to do it. I actually am self-taught in photography, but the person who I was hiring from noticed that I was really good at what I did, so he gave me a deal where I would shoot work for him. He would pay me some certain amount, not so much, but I would have the access to the camera whenever I needed them. Much later, my uncle saw my interest, and he took a loan, actually, which humbled me very much up to this day. He took a loan and gave me the cash to buy my first camera. And I bought my first camera, which was a Nikon D7100. Yeah, and there is when now I started my business. I used to do a lot of free events back then. Slowly but surely it started picking. I remember like the first paid gig I had like shot like more than 10 free events before now I landed the first paying gig. It was actually at Safaricom Michael Joseph Center. So that was like a big jump, because back then I was shooting a street event. Now I'm being paid to shoot a big event. Business started going on from there. And as a creative, yes, you face many challenges, but how you handle them defines your path, defines your career, because there's no one who doesn't have challenges. Yeah, 2017 was a very hard year for me back in 2017, because like everything started going down the wrong path. I needed to add more equipment. I didn't have the cash. One of my closest friend passed then, and thinking about it, like how life has been, because I have grown up as an orphan, I got into some kind of depression, and I wanted to actually to quit. Took like a whole year break where I did just humanitarian jobs. But the weird thing about 2017, as tough as it was, that is like the year I created some of my best works. I really got to do some of amazing work, which still today actually they surprise me as per today's standards. And I met some of I started like in 2017 training people. So in 2018 I was taking a break. I confessed myself and I decided to take it seriously as a business, how to pitch, how to go about businesses, how to go about contracts and everything. And when 2019 was ending in December, I got my first commercial work, and that's where now I started to focus more on the business side of photography. And around in August, I did like my first big commercial project, which was images for Concours d'Elegance. That was my first big commercial project. And after that, I did an article with Capital Lifestyle of Pesh, Kenya. And that was like the best received. That was my best received work. I remember that day was the day the pictures were posted. I was so happy that the phone couldn't stop ringing. From there, I now started landing more jobs, and my biggest work I'd say was branding images for Capital FM. That was one of my best gigs because it was a station I used to listen to, especially hits by Eve D'Souza and Solo. Now I'm here working for the same station that inspired me when I was growing up. And I would like to tell everyone to never give up, no matter how challenging your path is. Don't allow fear to stop you from what you are doing. If you don't do something you are passionate about, if you don't share it, someone else will do it, and you will always be saying, I can do it much better than so and so. But there is nothing you are showing to prove that you can do it. So don't allow fear to stop you from what you are passionate about. Do it and just be hopeful. Everything turns out well in the end. Consistency and persistence will make you now get to where you want. Because when you practice something for long, that's how you end up being good at it.
Dunia ni ndogo, sema kama tusafiri Lesotho, ama Argentina, America. Yes, it's Mviri the storyteller, singer, songwriter from generation, from Soul Generation. This is Soul Generation is a record label for those of you that do not know, run by Sauti Soul. Yes, so I happen to be one of the artists. Kuna Ben Soul, watu wangu wa ndani. Yeah, other than that, mnanijua kama msanii, bwana sherehe, bwana pombe, sigara, anaweza wacha. So the point at which I realized that I wanted to do music was in high school. But this wasn't 100%. It was 50-50 because sasa, in high school, karibu kila mtu ni msanii. I was in drama. Drama yetu ilikuwa kuimba na kudance. So mlongo, I even did a bit of dancing. I was a dancer. For those of you, I know it's hard to believe. Yeah, so during this time, when I was doing all these projects, music, drama, and whatever, I figured that I soberly loved entertainment. For me, it was anything that is dealing with entertainment. Niko ndani. So fast forward, nimemaliza shule. And this is when I actually told my mom that I sing and that I'd want to pursue music as a career. I don't remember how she reacted because it definitely wasn't something big. She just ignored it. And other than that, she was like, since now that you're done with high school, unataka kwenda shule gani? What's the next step? You can imagine someone dismissing you, telling them about your future plans. And because I've had a couple of times where people ask you, other than being an artist, what do you actually do? What do you really do? So we always have such questions. Back to now, me as an artist and trying to convince, I think the first people you're trying to convince is your family, because your family is the one place you run to when you're in trouble. So you'd want to be in good books with them. Ended up going to study mechanical engineering. I don't know how I was so excited about engineering, but I studied. And my whole family, like my dad, his brother, they all studied that same thing. So me I did it for the sake of the family, and also I soberly wanted to discover like how machines work. But through this time, the constant factor was always music. Growing up, honestly, there have been some hardships, especially financially. And at this point, you look at artists. I remember Mtuka Nameless, these were one of the first Kenyan artists kununua gari. I've spoken to Ben a couple of times akiniambia the way alikuwa anapanda matatu hata akiwa enzi za Lazizi. These guys have hits on the streets but bado anapanda matatu. Those were the struggles pia me I think I was facing, because these are the people I was looking up to. And all this time naona hapa tuko 50-50. So I decided one thing. This was the turning point also in my where I made my choices. There's a time I told myself, I do not want to sing for the sake of just earning money and everything, because I know there's a lot of control that comes with that. So I figured, let me get something else. Let me get another hustle that will pay off, and music will just be a hobby. So me nilingia kwa muziki kama hobby. That is how I ended up joining video production. So huku nje kuna watu wananiita video producer, photographer. I've also seen my friends' phones and I'm very the photographer, I'm very videographer, I'm very editor. Hadi wale wajai change. Now is the storyteller. The moment I made my decision not to do mechanical engineering, I was like, oh, to hell with this. It's the one time sasa I got the opportunity to join a company that was doing entertainment. And for musicians, that's how I met South Soul, because now I started doing video production for South Soul. This was Live and Die in Africa tour. I came in as an editor. And it actually worked to some extent, because now I got to join a studio where I did video production and audio. So these are the struggles people do not know. During the day, nilikuwa nafanya video production. At night, nilikuwa studio naimba. Record. During the day, video. And I kind of know this is how my success story came about, because I did a lot of writing and recording without knowing. It was not intentional. I didn't know what direction I was taking. I was just entertaining myself. But then the turning point was, there's a time Bien alikuja studio, and Bien sang Nenda Lote, penzi unaenda niliku enzi vinoma noma. The first thing I remember, from the first verse hadi mwisho nilikuwa nimefocused, ameshika tension yangu 100%. And I kind of told myself I'd want to be such kind of a musician. Hence the name storyteller sasa, but tutafika hapo. I'd want to be an artist who captures people's attention, specifically because of the lyrics. Because other than the lyrics, kila mtu anaweza imba, you know. I can sing pretty well right now. Utasema, ujamaa anajua kuimba. If you can relate to my lyrics, trust me, tuta connect. And that is now the turning point where I considered myself as a songwriter, as a storyteller, because I soberly wanted to pass that communication straight from me to my audience. So immediately after I heard this guy sing, that same evening I wrote a whole song na nikamtumia. Nakumbuka ilikuwa pesa siwe shida kwetu. I used to sing about my current situation. So me, I started singing about my experiences. It's this time that I was mzani alikuwa anajua wasichana. So most of my songs they were about relationships, love, clubbing. I was so attached to my music. Very, very attached. Ile sikutaka kushia kazi yangu. I kind of felt like it would go to waste if at all I release it, yeah? And at this point, tukafanya project moja na Bien. This was Melanin. So we wrote Melanin, ikatoka, ikakuwa hit. But at this same time, nikienda interviews naulizwa, how is it like working with South Soul? How is it like writing songs for artists out here? And this kind of pushed me also to try and do more of my own content and being my own person as an artist. And the struggle ikaanzia hapo. Not really struggle, but now the journey of me being an artist. I remember I was told one point by one of the boys, very next time usikuje na camera ushoot tu hivyo manze. Kuja uniambie kuna song umeandika. Honestly, yeah. So unalalia talanta hapa. They were so impressed with my writing actually, and we started having writing sessions over and over. And at this point, pia nikamit Ben Soul by the way. Watu wajui manze nilimit Ben Soul, mimi niko na shoot videos za Ben Soul pia. Until when Soul Generation was started by South Soul, wakaniambia mviri niaje tunataka kuanza label, logo down. Kambia of course mimi niko ready, hata nizoletea makaratasi nijisainishe. And this is where sasa life ika change. Mviri became the storyteller. But even at that time, after we released the first single, nilikuwa skeptical. sikujua venye itafanya kwa market. Considering Bensol alitoa Lucy and the first 2 days alikuwa na 2k views peke yake. Guys was so frustrated. I can see it through their eyes, the way they were fearing like probably also my project will be a fail. But before you know it, ngoma ya Bensol ilipik, ikashika na take off. Pombe Sigara ikatoka. The day of the release, I wasn't there. Nilikata maji. I woke up the next day at 2. So ile unafungua YouTube kwa 50-50. Suda clock 2,000 in 2 days. So mi naamka niki-expect labda 1,000 today, 1,000 tomorrow. By the time I opened, nilikuwa 10k. This was like in 3-4 hours, niko to 10k views. I was so shocked, manzi. Msanii confidence 360. So it was such a happy moment. So this was where life changed and take off. One of the highlights in all this tulikuwa event, and there's a parent ali approach. Nilikuwa na Polycarp kwa supermarket akasema, I support my kid and I want my kid to follow with what you guys are doing. That was a heartwarming moment. And this is an old guy, and even my own teacher akasema, there's a teacher I bumped into later on in life, akaniambia, I'm so glad I never stopped you from singing in class, and hata sijai kupunish. I'm so glad I did that, and I wish I did that with my kid, because now I see where the art is going. And you know, it's self-employment, you're doing your own stuff, and it's very successful. I wish I did that. But lesson learned, right now you're in a generation where you already know how this thing plays out. So with that said, I wrote a song. There's a song I wrote, and it was inspired by how I was talking to my brother. This was just a few weeks back, and he told me once, hey, naona sema umekuwa msanii zinashika cause it's abroad. Akasema, make it real fast so that pia mimi nikuje kwa country nikulio pesa manze, tujibambe. And I was telling him, manze, bro, man, I got you. Hii shida hatuwezi pitia, tutatalk one way or another. Without further ado, inaitwa Lesotho. Tukumbuke vile tulivyokazana, tukumbuke vile tulivyong'ang'ana, tukumbuke vile tulivyopambana, tukumbuke vile na kuahidi nikishikamani, hautawahi kosa maziwa asali. Kila siku tutaweka party. Najua vile unapenda sherehe, vile ninapenda sherehe. No. Mtoto kiboko, sema kile unaona kwa ndoto, nami nitatimiza yote. Dunia ni ndogo, sema kama tusafiri Lesotho ama Argentina, Amerika. Tukumbuke vile tulivyokazana, tukumbuke vile tulivyopambana, tukumbuke vile tulivyokazana, tukumbuke vile kuna Mesaya, kuna Mesaya, yeah. No. Ukiweza piga picha, ukipenda mziki katika hizi misimu zitapita, na hizi picha zitatukumbusha si kila mtu anapenda good life. Yeah. Wewe mwenyewe unajipa good time. Yeah. Mtoto kiboko, sema kile unaona kwa ndoto, nami nitatimiza yote. Dunia ni ndogo, sema kama tusafiri Lesotho ama Argentina, Amerika. Tukumbuke vile tulivyokazana, tukumbuke vile tulivyopambana.
Oh my God, I told you today's episode was gonna be so bomb. And you know, the good thing is that you not only learned, but I also learned a lot. And you know, in life, there's so many things that happen, you know, your day to day, you know, your friends, your family, and sometimes it can really steer you away from what you really want to do. So I hope today's episode inspired you, motivated you to become fearless and to do whatever it is that you want to do. Don't go with the flow. This life is not a river, you have to follow the course. No, you can create your own story. You can do whatever it is you want, because at the end of the day, you want to be happy. Thank you so much for watching Fearless. See you guys next week as we take on another fearless topic, and also hopefully we can get to do another fearless challenge. Thank you so much. Again, turn on that notification bell. Mwah. Love you guys.
Tukumbuke vile tulivong'ang'ana, tukumbuke vile kuna Mesaya.